to your estate accounts or your inheritance accounts in the de jure Post Office of America. This is not the United States Postal Office. This is the American Post Office, because Philadelphia is, in my opinion, still the capital of America. It never left Philadelphia. What took place in setting up the capital of the United States was a corporate capital.
The administration, right.
Mm-hmm. And see, there's 4 offices overseas. Now, you can go to a foreign consulate as an American and say you lose all your money. You go into that foreign consulate or fax into one of these 4 offices where the international IRS is located, and they would be able to forward money to that other embassy.
Wow.
From your account. Yeah. You're an American.
It's so international. Yep.
Yeah. So,
but Patrick, can you? I'm curious to know more, and I'm being honest. I haven't had the time to look at all the stuff that you share.
Well, basically, you're not going to know more until you read and understand everything.
Right. She had
an
emergent.
Can you explain that envelope that you shared with us?
Okay, that envelope basically is the deal with when you get a bill sent to you. Okay, normally it will come to you with your zip code dash a 4-digit, your post box number, whether it's a rural post box number or whatever. That is a 9-digit number. It's a bank routing number. And see, when you look at the form 3575, and I got to looking at this when I was changing the address from my entity up to the state capital, to the direct all mail to go up to the capital postmaster to do the set-offs. And on line 7A, I think it is, let me pull this up. I got it right here. Okay. When you look at that 3575 form, and that's an address change form. Okay. And on line 7A, it says old apartment or suite. And it's got 10 spaces there. Well, when you go down to line 8A, new apartment, suite, or PMB. Well, what is a PMB? Well, I got to looking at it, and I said, wait a minute. That's 9 digits. 5 for the zip code, a dash, and 4 digits. So you fill up all 10 spaces. Why didn't they just make it 6 spaces? Because they needed 10. And PMB stands for Postmaster Bank Routing Number. You are a bank. Okay, you're either a private bank when they send it to your post, your zip code, dash your box number. And see, you are not the one that's responsible for paying the bill for your corporate entity. The state of Iowa corporate post office is the one that's responsible. But they sent it to you. Now you've got 3 days to reject that. Either forward it onto the state capital post office, postmaster, or you return it back to the corporation that sent it to you, the court or whoever, and you tell them the correct address to send it to. You're sending it to the wrong bank. You're sending it to my back pocket bank, when it really should be going to, like in my case, the Iowa postmaster at zip code 50319-9998 to do a set-off for that corporate entity. He's the one that owes the bill, not me. I'm the American executor. I'm the secured party. I'm not going to use my private bank to pay his damn bills.
So that's where we send our vouchers then to our state postmaster. Especially
yes, you should send them,
in my case, I have for property taxes and for some delinquent tax sales. I need to get a new payout order for the tax sale from the attorney, and then immediately turn around and send the voucher in to the state.
Well, no, you just send the bill up to, you address that attorney to forward that up to that postmaster.
Okay.
Yeah, you can tell that. Your utility companies, you turn around and give them the new mailing address. Send the utility bill up to the Iowa or the state capital postmaster.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're
so you got on the third, then was forwarded. Did you write that blue text that is written there in the envelope?
Yes.
Can you explain that envelope? What is inside the envelope?
A court case. They're asking for payment for a court case for traffic tickets.
A judgment. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't open the envelope. You forward it. It's not my damn mail. It's the corporation's. The citizenship. See, a citizenship is a financial vessel.
Okay, so you are saying any bill can be paid that way?
Yes. Well, any bill that is not from a local mom and pop place. Okay.
Can you repeat that? What?
So medical bills, hospital bills could be paid that way?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically anything like that, because they've been utilizing your Social Security account number. When you get a medical checkup, you have to give them a Social Security number, don't you?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Solved a lot of my problems.
Hell of a yeah.
As I've told you before, I'm in bankruptcy and I'm having trouble with that aspect of it.
Well, basically, you can go into that damn bankruptcy and tell them, hey, but you need to basically get your name, your affidavit of your name, and get your correct name down.
Oh, and submit all that to the bankruptcy court, too.
Yes, you give them an affidavit of what your true name is.
Okay.
That's basically like sending the bill to the trustee, to the one that has the power to set off the account, that bill.
A judge does too. Okay? You put it into the court. Basically, you notify that judge, and basically, you get them with that affidavit. What are you doing? You're coming in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Okay? Showing that you are a Christian. The Father is your family name. The Son is basically your given name. The Holy Ghost is your middle name.
Truby Child, Michigan.
Hello.
Can that work for somebody who is losing their home foreclosure?
Yes. You basically file the charge into the bill into that postal bank. You can notify the court if they're coming after you that basically this bill is to be set off. That court, all these courts out here are nothing but bank settlement courts. And you have to come in and say, hey, there's been a mistake. This was sent to the wrong bank. My back pocket. This bank bill should have been sent to the state capital or to the United States Capitol post office.
Okay.
Under the 9998 account. Postal bank routing number, and then basically you have that postal bank under that 9998 is the withdrawal side. The 9999 is the deposit side.
So basically, all bills that come to us with our capital capital letter name.
It doesn't make any difference whether it's capital or not.
Right. Ah.
Okay.
That's right, because that's right, because the name in the wrong order is still the corporate name.
It's in the wrong order. It's a false registry.
Okay.
And see, every mother has two birthings. The living individual and the afterbirth. The state has claimed the afterbirth, the dead entity. And the dead entity is the opposite of what the living is.
Yes.
So basically, it uses the name in an opposite manner. And see, you can only claim your inheritance when you have your name in the correct format. Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Or family, middle name, and your given name, as they use on their forms here.
But you said that the middle name is the Holy Ghost, and I would say then it's the given name, the first name, Patrick.
The given name is your permanent name or last name. Okay? Now see, they didn't have the forms back in Jesus' time that we have now. Okay, so there was a slightly different format, but it was still the same. The father is always the family. And you, with your given name, are the son or daughter of the father.
Okay.
Right. So it's I think it's better to always refer to the family name and the given name and just give up on the use of the terms first name and last name.
Yeah, but you've got to look at the form, so if you don't understand, you'll screw it up by filling out the form wrong.
Right. Your family name is your first name. The first name that family name appeared before you ever did.
Yes, the family always comes first. And see, that is for inheritance purposes.
Yes. Is there any other questions out there? Some people have joined us.
Hi, this is Tracy Simmons from Columbus, Ohio.
Yes, Gracie.
Just joined the call.
Hi, Trace.
Hello, Mr. Devine.
Have any questions there for Tom or me? Tom's my mentor or my moderator for the group site now. So he's been answering several questions on the group site there as they come about, if he can.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the. I think a lot of the questions the people already know the answer, and I'm trying to get them to be a little bit more forward to say that we know a lot more than we're admitting to ourselves. Because Patrick has been telling this for a long time, and I think a lot of it's soaked in. We just have to learn how to say it right.
Yeah. I just wish that people would sort of contact some of these other places if they're out there monitoring some of these other sites and different things. Like last night, there was a conference call with the sheriffs or something like that, and basically they're trying to do some things, and basically they've got some forms out there. Take a strong look if you get into any of these other outfits, and if they don't say anything about banking or understand the banking system, get the heck away from them, because they will get you into trouble.
I agree. It's all commerce.
Yes, this is all on an individual basis. Okay? You can't go with a group effort. And that's what these guys were doing. And in a lot of cases, they were signing over trustee or guardianship over to some other person. And that's the same system you have right now. Why jump from one frying pan into another frying pan?
Well, if you want to see it as a frying pan, because that's just the system that was created. It is what it is.
No, it isn't what it is. We only make it what it is.
We let it happen. We let it happen. Yeah. We have to undo it.
And we can correct our mistakes.
Well, the original mistake was from the parents. I mean, they created the system, right? The system
but the system was created thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. This system has not been changed because these nitwits that are running it aren't that damn smart to change it. Yeah, look at the George Bushes. Look at the Hillary Clinton. Look at some of these people that are you think are real educated people. They're pretty damn dumb, but they're just bankers, and they will. They're embezzlers in a lot of cases.
Well, they work for the bankers.
Yeah.
I think some of the top bankers are very, very aware of the scam they're pulling on us, and they pretend not to know.
Yeah, they play dumb.
I would bet you every judge knows what crap he's pulling on in the room.
Not necessarily, but basically when you can get them and see that judge is operating in a government claim position. Now, he's holding that office under a false registry.
He's basically impersonating an office, falsely impersonating an office holder.
Yes.
Well, he's wearing different hats.
No, he's not wearing different hats. He's basically operating under a false registry. Just like the IRS, when you sign a 1040 form or any form that you send in there with your, like in my case, Patrick DEVINE, the IRS is going to turn around and probably send me a $5,000 frivolous filing fee. Well, what is the $5,000 frivolous filing fee? It's a false registration fee because I'm using the wrong name. I'm claiming that I am not who I am. Yeah. And basically also, under false registry, it could be up to 5 years in jail. So basically all these government officials, police officers and everything else that sign a ticket with their wrong name, you can turn around and file a charge of $5,000 against them, against their bond of office.
No, we don't want to do that.
I'm just saying that basically this is one way to correct the situation. Not that we want to do it, but basically if they proceed to cause you harm as an American executor after you've notified them of your correct name, and they proceed to put it down in the wrong manner, and then they sign the ticket, you can basically take them out of office and say, go home, find another job, because you're incompetent in holding the one you're holding.
So you give them a notice. Why fire them? Maybe they like their job.
Listen, lady, you need to correct things.
Right, but
okay?
don't you
And
give them
if you've got an officer out there that doesn't know his job responsibility, he has to be removed. Especially if he's causing harm to the living individuals of America. Forget this Mrs. Nice ass bullshit. Okay? You've got to stand up and defend America. You can't be wishy-washy about this. I'm not saying to go out after them all the time. It's only the rogue ones that basically need to be removed, and now you have a means to remove them.
Because there are some bad guys out there.
Yes.
And we have the tools to do it.
Yeah, we have the understanding now of the right way to go about this.
It takes some courage to do it on our part, and also takes being damn sure what you're doing is accurate. You don't wing it.
All I'm saying is that if not all the judges are aware of these, how can you expect, police officers, people that are there?
You try and educate them nicely, okay? If they do not comply, then after you have notified them, and they proceed to cause you harm, then basically that is time to call in, and you don't file the charges. You submit the charges into the U.S. Attorney's Office.
The Attorney General?
U.S. Attorney.
Whoever. The U.S. Attorney's is where you would file, or into a magistrate court. Primarily at the federal level would be my best play.
Hey, Patrick, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is George. I'm up in Seattle. And I had did my my claim of what did you call that thing again? My claim of false registry. And I downloaded the new files that you had in the zip files, and I was just going back through it, just reviewing, making sure that I crossed my T's and dot my I's. And I realized on the part where you explain that this is the correct way to spell out my name, I put my middle initial. Hello?
Yeah, you cut out. Repeat your
last name. You cut out there.
Okay, I put my first name my last name first and my first name last, but my middle name I'm so used to writing it after George, and so it's going Louis George Jr. William Alexander. So that doesn't mean I have to go back and redo it all over again, right?
You might want to look at it and basically, if you feel that it needs to be put in there, because see, last name means permanent.
Right.
Last means permanent. So that should be your first Christian given name.
Correct. I do have that form in it, right? It's just that on that one particular line where you were explaining to them this is the proper format of my name, you know, I put my middle initials, my middle name I put out of place, and I didn't realize that till I was going through reviewing, checking everything, make sure I sent it out right.
Everything, I would go ahead and change it, and then use that new affidavit or your false registry document from now on.
Okay, and one other question on the false registry document, you got in the boxes where it says child line 1, father line 7. What are those lines? Are those the lines just numbered on your birth certificate in the order
on the certificate of live birth registration document for the state of Iowa? That's the numbers. Okay, so you might have to look at your certificate of live birth registration document and see if those same numbers correspond to what I've got recorded there. But that's what I had, for the state of Iowa.
Okay, I got it. All right, well, my package is ready to go again.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna go on mute. It's star 86, right?
Star 6, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, Patrick. I have a question.
Okay.
On the executive voucher of claim, I see a space called that spot that says depository account number. What number goes on that depository account number?
Well,
what number goes there?
That's what I sent in today. Okay. Was to get an EIN for my state of Iowa corporate citizenship entity, Patrick Devine. Okay.
So whatever your EIN number, whatever your EIN number is on your SS4 form, that's what you put. That'll be your depository account number.
Yes.
Well,
which document? Which document are you talking about?
What post office you're sending this into, and then whether you're coming in against the entity or whether you're coming in against your estate.
Okay.
Now, I submitted in 3 brand new requests for SS4s today. One for the state of Iowa, postal, capital, treasury, citizenship account, and then one for the United States postal treasury citizenship account, and one for the Church of Rome treasury postal treasury account. Trust.
I have another. Okay, I'm sorry. I had another question. But you can finish. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, I will take those, and then I'm sending a fax into them tomorrow. I'm leaving those 3 EINs in my letter to the IRS, chief IRS agent, and also American Postmaster there at Philadelphia under the 19255, and basically that is the American Treasury Post Office. And I'm sending a letter into them. I will post that letter up tomorrow. I'm sending it in as a fax, and basically also claiming that I want access right now as an American executor to my American inheritance. I'm sending a copy of my affidavit of the individual, correct name individual, a copy of my W-8 form, a copy of my 4232, and a copy of the 2 addresses change that I had for the my corporate entity sending the mail to those other accounts. I'm sending this by fax into that IRS Internal Revenue Service Center for International accounts.
Okay. I have another question.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the one where it said that your birth state is Iowa, am I correct?
Yes.
Now, say for instance, okay, so you have to do one for Iowa or the state you was born in. Okay, say if you moved and you're not in that state, but you in another state, do you do one for that state that you living in now?
You're going to need to do one for both of them.
Okay, I was wondering about that. One in your birth state, and one in your birth state, and one in the state that you live now. Am I correct?
Yes. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
You're a citizen of both of those states.
Okay.
You're a citizen.
Okay.
You have a citizenship in both of those states. And see, citizenship, okay, it's two words. Put a hyphen between citizen and ship. Now you've got a ship, and a ship is basically, in this case, a financial vessel. Wow. And see, when a vessel operates under a false registry, it has to be forfeited to the United States of America.
Okay.
When it is claimed. And see, that's what we're coming in, and we're claiming that those accounts now have to be forfeited to us as we are the lawful American executor.
Okay. Okay, so one more thing
we have a higher standing than Obama does. Obama's just a damn corporate nitwit.
Okay. It's one more question I want to ask about that. Okay, now when you do the one for your state, the state that you was born in, and say if you want and you do like you said the form was it the post office form 32 that form. So you put the address where they send our correspondence to you, even in your birth state. You're not living in your birth state no more?
No. That form is where you are living. Okay.
At the present time, now.
At the present time, yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you very much. That's how I want some clarification on that. I was right on that. Okay.
When you have questions about a specific form, please identify the form first, so the rest of us know which one you're talking about. Thank you.
Yes,
Any more questions?
Yes.
Yes, I have a question, gentlemen.
32, which is the rural customer delivery instructions.
Right. Any more questions?
Yes, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen, for this conference call tonight. This is Brown Robert. My birth state was New York. I live in North Carolina. I posted a question 6074 on Monday regarding both states use mail centers. I have done research and have found a post office box for each state. So that's not a question anymore. The state of New York, though, does not issue a live birth certificate. I have even gone to the coroner's office in the city of New York, and they told me they just don't issue them. So I have to go to Vital Statistics to get a new birth certificate, or they'll mail it to me. Is there any issue with not being a live certificate of birth?
No, they're not going to issue you they will issue a certificate of live birth, and that is for your corporate entity.
Got it.
Okay? You should have gotten a hospital birth certificate or have your living birth recorded into a Bible.
Okay.
Okay. Try and find out what your birth weight and everything is. Because,
I have that in the Bible, actually.
Okay. Then basically that is your documentation of, and see, here in the state of Iowa, when I was born, they issued out a hospital birth certificate. And basically that had my weight and my footprints and everything on it. But guess what? It was under a gold seal.
Oh, okay.
It was a one-time document. They try and claim that is just for what the hell is that? Sort of like an award or something like that type deal. That's bullshit.
Right.
That gold seal basically said that you were entitled from America your birth weight in gold. And that goes all the way back into the Bible.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
And see, that was one of the initial deposits that went into your American inheritance. But you were not supposed to receive that until you turned 21. And that's in the Bible too.
Right.
It's
Thank
all
you very
about
much.
banking. And see, the Bible, Bible,
Yes.
okay, it's in all capital letters.
Right.
That stands for Barter Instrument of Banking, Laws, and Enforcement.
Yes, I remember reading that. Thank you.
Okay? That's just my interpretation.
Perfect.
And I'm in a different world.
But we're welcome in that world, aren't we?
Yeah?
Good. Any more questions? If there are no more questions, should we wrap up the call then?
Yes, I actually have a question.
Okay.
All right, my name is Mel from Pennsylvania. My situation is actually, hi, first of all, hello Patrick, how are you doing tonight?
Okay.
I just want to thank you for your patience and everything here. You're a very patient man. All right, first of all, I wanted to, I'm just informing the rest of the listeners and you as well that this is more so a testimony than it is a question. I've had success with, actually I'm speaking on behalf of my brother who wasn't able to make this call tonight, but you had mentioned earlier about frivolous filing, frivolous filing from the IRS. Well, about a month ago, actually when taxes were due in, was it April, he did his filings with a 1099-A. Now, he went through the whole procedure of getting the EIN for his SS person and everything and doing the Form 56s. He was successful with he did all the paperwork as you have positioned on the website. Upon filing his 1099-A, he included the amount on his 1040, which he filed along with his employee income tax return or taxes withheld. So he combined, I think it was, yes, it was $20,500 that he had did as acquisition on his 1099-A, and he included that amount as tax withheld, income tax withheld on his 1040, along with his income tax withheld for his employee wages. All right. After he had submitted all this through, the IRS then sent him a letter demanding that he send proof of the taxes withheld. He then sent a copy of his 1099-A and a copy of a 1096, along with his, I think it's the W-2 forms, to the location that they told him to send it to. And he then later received another letter claiming, where the IRS was claiming frivolous filing, and they told him to send a corrected 1040, and they would disregard the initial filing and then set it up the way it should have been from the beginning, supposedly. Now, from the beginning, he did his 1040 electronically. He sent his 1099-As in through mail. Now, the issue is that after that first frivolous letter that he received from the IRS, he got scared and he sent a second 1040 in, only including his employee income tax withheld. Now, nothing was heard from the IRS for like 2 weeks. And when he checked his bank account, he had a deposit of $19,848.07 deposited from the Treasury Department. Now, they had taken taxes out of this check that was deposited into his bank. He set up on the 1040 for a direct deposit, so that's why it went straight to his bank. He didn't get a check from him or anything. But 2 weeks after, he received another frivolous filing letter, upon which he ended up calling the number provided on the letter. And upon inquiry, the agent told him that someone had incorrectly authorized the unfreezing of his account, and that he should file another corrected 1040 and send back $14,000. Now, they had owed him for his employee taxes withheld. They owed him $5,000 or something like that, somewhere around that ballpark, $6,000, $5,000. And he had said, well, he told the lady that, well, I had already I sent in a corrected 1040 form. The first frivolous filing I got, what happened to that? She claimed that it was never received. So initially, he didn't want any issues with everything because he hasn't correctly set up his entity status and corrected all that with the false registry. So he went ahead and sent back the money and refiled a 1040. But I just wanted to say that the funds made it into his bank account. So one of two things occurred. Either the Treasury Department falsified funds and sent him a check that made an error, or there was an account that actually existed. So I'm just speaking to any callers that might still have doubt in their hearts pertaining to this whole process. It is true, and I have verification. I have the letters. I have copies of his bank statements that shows it went through. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay. Now, number one thing, okay, he cannot file any 1040 forms.
Yes, we came to terms with that he needs to be filing the 1041s.
Well, that basically he can't file any IRS forms, okay, for income taxes. You do not, okay. Your person is not getting, they're using his assets, and he's getting paid minimum fee, usage fee in that. You do not have access to those accounts that basically you need to have if to determine whether you need to file any income tax. The income tax you're paying is for the United States corporation or for the employer. You're paying their taxes because they're the ones that are operating and getting 5% return on the bonds that they're writing to pay his salary. And basically, in this country, it's in the law that basically they cannot tax a man's wages.
Yes.
Okay? Now, that being said, all those other documents that basically he was filing, he was coming in and basically using the wrong name. Okay?
Okay.
And basically he needs to do a W-8 form and get down his foreign status. He's the living individual. He needs to do an affidavit of his living name, get that into place, do the W-8 form, do the 4232, correct his address, and if the IRS sends you any cash, and see, the bank account you're putting that money into is under your corporate entity's name.
Correct.
You need to get that out, and you need to get that into your private bank account, your back pocket.
And that's the issue there. The private bank account. Now, when you establish a foreign grantor's trust, this is where we're having difficulty, is acquiring the correct location for that trust that would be foreign to the U.S.
No, it's basically foreign to the United States corporation, but it is an American trust.
So you can use your address.
Now, you're talking apples and oranges here, okay?
Okay.
That American trust, that foreign grantor trust, is a trust that will, and you will basically shut down all of your corporate entities out here under their false registries. You're going to claim all those vessels, and they're going to be forfeited to you. Then you can either put them in your back pocket, your private postmaster bank, which is your back pocket, and don't use any of these damn stinking banks.
Yes. He had initially, he did this actually. We've been working, corresponding together. He kind of jumped the gun on this and didn't really say anything to me till after things went down. But he wanted just to see something because we've been following you for some time now, and he just wanted to see something done. Now, I told him that, you mess up, you can get yourself in trouble. Yeah. So don't act until you understand completely with what you are doing. And, this is a consequence of that. However,
I got about 30 letters from the IRS sitting here. Basically, I haven't responded to any of them. And see, they start to know who in the hell I am when I rebut and I refuse to contract with them. And now, with what we have under this false registry, see, even our corporate entity really owes no income tax, because income tax is a tariff tax on the usage of the Federal Reserve monetary system of bonds and usury.
Correct.
And the fee that we are getting...
can't use, unless we're an agent, we can't even utilize those Federal Reserve notes.
Yeah. Well, basically, don't worry about it. The dollar bills have a black seal and a green seal. And if we claim that we're operating under the green seal side, we're operating with lawful money.
So you're saying that the United States or the American dollar exists within that Federal Reserve note?
Yes.
So it's a dual instrument.
Yeah, and see, what we've been doing is by not claiming and doing away with our corporate entities, we have been causing inflation. And so that is what has decreased the value of our de jure dollar. I mean, a car today should cost the same as it did back in 1964, about $2,500.
And this is why more people need to be educated in how to operate correctly so we can fix this mess we got ourselves into.
Yeah, and see, it's all about banking. When you understand how the monetary system flows, then everything else, the cards of the house of cards, comes tumbling down. It's not about all this other stuff that people out here on these other talk shows like Rod Class and everybody else is going and fighting them in court using the codes to fight them. The codes do not apply to the living. They only apply to the fiction.
It just shakes them up a little bit when you get in there and start reciting things like that. I mean, the issue is that the system is a mess as it stands right now. So there are going to be different angles that people are going to pick at it because there are all kinds of holes in this ship.
Yeah. And
I understand exactly what you're saying. My second issue is the Treasury Direct account.
I need to.
All right.
Can I see how much is on my card?
Is this process still going, engaging with the Treasury Direct account? I understand the Treasury Direct account is for security exchanges. And
yeah,
you
I
need
would stay away from it right now, okay?
$14 for short.
When we go into this Philadelphia office, this international
need to mute.
IRS, we will basically be getting control of our assets, our inherent assets, but we have to come in with our correct living name.
Okay.
See, only the living using the correct name can claim an inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
now, when you do that false registry correction of the living name, you're going to be issued, if they follow procedure correctly, they're supposed to issue a corrected birth certificate with that name, right?
No, because you won't need
no
a
better
birth
deals than here.
certificate
You
any
got a
longer.
discount. I mean, I just say it's always.
There are two women talking. There are two women talking.
You know who you are. Yeah. You've done your affidavit, so basically that is your document. That basically who you are.
So that's your document for identification?
For anything, basically, you're not. You come in and a cop tries to arrest you, and you say, "My name is Divine Patrick. I do not have a EIN or a taxpayer identification number. I am exempt." And see, I have, when you have those forms, you've got your W-8 form showing exactly who you are. So basically, they cannot touch you. You are a foreign diplomat or a foreign entity that they cannot
I guess what's
touch.
becoming confusing is, establishing that foreign certificate with that W-8 form. I guess the issue is coming in is that if you're using a address that belongs to, such as I would be utilizing my home address.
Yes.
Now, say it again?
Care of, okay? You do not have a permanent address. You are a non-resident. You are
when you provide it as care of, that just negates the
Do you live at that address all day long?
No, I'm not a prisoner.
So it's not a permanent address.
Okay.
So you receive your mail there in care of that address.
I see.
CO.
Patrick?
And you would put it within America, or you would put it within...
No, you just put it down the way it is right now, but you just say the street address is care of.
Okay. I got you.
You put down your post route number and your post route box number.
And now for the rural route number for that change of address form, I forget, PS 45 something or rather. How do you find the rural route?
You call up the post office. You pick up the phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You ask them, what is the number of my rural or my postal delivery person? And see, normally a post office might have roughly about 10 deliveries routes.
Yes.
more than
Now,
likely just
with
signed.
the UCC one is another issue. I mean, I haven't got to that point yet, but I have been discussing it.
I will be putting a new UCC one up there, template. Okay. That if it's required after what I'm going to fax into the IRS International office tomorrow, if it's still required. It may not be required if we basically put in our affidavit and basically a letter of claim and address basically the entities and show them that we are trying to close them down. They may show up at the door and help us the rest of the way.
The reason why I brought up the UCC1 is because I've been cautioned with that, but by you yourself as well as others. But there, within the wording of it, my understanding is that it is a contract that you do form when you go into filing this, and what happens is that you naturalize your person or entity as opposed to nationalize. And by naturalizing your person, you're essentially wavering the sovereignty of the individual and asking for permission or a benefit to utilize, like a grant, so to speak, as opposed to nationalizing your person where you are coming in claiming sovereignty to the nation that you are indigenous to, which essentially is what is being done with the affidavit.
The UCC is just basically a clarification of claim. Okay? That's all you're doing. You're addressing your debtors, and you are coming in and you are claiming that you are the secured party. But see, we didn't have the thing filled out properly with the names.
Yes, that's
now, when you fill out the names correctly, the debtor is basically Patrick Devine, but the secured party is going to be Devine Patrick. So you have now established your status as one of we the people of America.
Okay. Now, this is the last thing, and I'm going to let you go for tonight because it's getting late on this East Coast here. I got work in the morning. But United States Minor Outlining Islands. What is the deal with that at this point in time?
You don't need to play that game, okay? That's just like going out and getting a notary public. It's all bullshit, okay? Yeah, and see, in the Bible it says, by two you are to be known. That does not include a notary public that was set up by England, okay?
True. Yes.
You are known by your right and left index fingers. It used to be, at birthing, they used your right and left footprints because your little fingers, to try and put them on there, basically weren't totally functional yet. And basically to try and put a child's fingerprint on there, they might have broken the child's finger. So they used the footprints. But that was the two. That was the witness of two. And then your mother, at least on my hospital birth certificate, she used her right and left index fingers.
Oh.
Okay. Now I'm currently in Pennsylvania at this point in time. I was born in California, but I'm currently in Pennsylvania. I don't know. I've been out here for about 10 years now. I'm not certain exactly how I would deal with California, because I understand that is my initial point of citizenship, so to speak. but I am residing at this point in time in Pennsylvania.
Yes, and see,
Would
you
I
need to
file
come in
paperwork
and
for
claim
both states?
you have a citizenship there still in California. Okay? And you have a citizenship in Pennsylvania. Now you have to find the postal capital postmaster. And that will be, just look up your Secretary of State, your Secretary or your Attorney General, or the Treasurer of the State, and basically find out what zip code their mailing box or their that they receive their mail at. Okay,
Yes.
that is the capital zip code.
And you do that with both states. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
It's pretty simple, really, when you understand it.
Oh, absolutely. Most definitely. This is why study is very necessary. I want to thank you for your time, Patrick, and your dedication. You received many thanks, and I also thank you for granting, keeping the site up and passing it into the hands of those who have been working with you. I really appreciate that, because I'm sure many of the other callers do. My questions were a little unorganized tonight. There are future phone calls. I'm assuming this Monday conference call is going to be a regular basis for now. I'm going to organize my questions a little better so they're more detailed in getting the point across.
Yeah,
But,
well, in the future, probably it will be going over to the people more on the site and discussing this, like what Tom tried to do.
Okay.
And I'll probably be going totally into the background for a long rest.
You are well owed that slumber, my friend.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Well, enjoy your time, Patrick.
Okay.
Patrick?
A note, Patrick, on the 1040. I understand that the W-8 establishes your status as a non-resident alien, right?
Right.
And I had read that by submitting a 1040 or a W-4, and there's one other form I'd have to look out, you are asking, the IRS takes that as a request to be reclassified as a resident alien, a resident of Washington, D.C. alien.
Yep.
And that if you submit any of those forms, you've got to undo them all over again with a W-8.
Yeah, and see, you sign with your living name on there, and basically they're not going to take that 1040. I can almost guarantee it.
And other questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Good.
Patrick, what about people that were born in another country, nation, and they were not naturalized? Do they have to send the papers to the birth country?
Well, basically, you're going to have to put your claim in for your inheritance from that country. Okay? It may not have been transferred over to the North American Treasury. You might have to go to the South American Treasury because, like in the movie Wizard of Oz, okay, you only saw the Good Witch of the North. Okay? Chief Moytoy back in 1730 was declared the Emperor of North America. Later on, Spain gave him a hat to also include South America, so he was now, at that point in time, the Emperor of all the Americas. But later on, either he or one of the subsequent chiefs that took over the Cherokee Nation basically gave the hat, the red hat, back to Spain for South America. So, Chavez and basically Argentina and Brazil and all those South American countries, there is a American capital located somewhere in South America that has your South American inheritance treasury department, because basically they set up the same system that is in place in North America also in South America.
But the ship is if the ship is in the United States, and
you've got a fictional ship, so basically whether they transferred your stuff up here, I don't know. You'll have to check it out.
You have a social security number,
Yes, I do.
but you're not a naturalized citizen?
No,
Okay.
I'm a permanent resident alien.
Well, you need to get that status changed, and then you need to get your name changed the correct way, and then you need to contact that international IRS Internal Revenue Service Center there for international accounts there in Philadelphia. And put
Do you
the
remember
question
what I
to them.
mentioned to you, the ceremony of when I accepted the permanent residency? A man in black brought a Bible, and I had to place my hand on the Bible, raise my right hand, and I had to pledge an oath that I was going to respect the laws of the United States. So, to me, in my head, it's like it is here. The accounts, because all the courts are international.
Well, you'll have to put that question to the IRS there at Philadelphia at 19255. I've got the address in the document
Yes, yes.
up there for the flow chart. Call them up and ask them.
What would be the
But
exact
you need to have your affidavit of your correct name.
What would be the question? How would you phrase the question?
Huh?
How would you phrase the question to the IRS?
I don't know.
To Philadelphia?
You think about it. You're a smart lady, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I wanted your opinion.
Okay. Then basically you think about the question you want to ask.
All right.
There is no stupid question.
Of course.
Okay, we were told that before.
Thank you, Patrick.
Okay.
Good. Any more questions?
Hi, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I have one quick question, Mr. Divine. I forgot to ask. With the 3575 form, the address correction, will all your mail be sent to other locations versus, still coming to your home? How does that work?
Well, basically, you're notifying the post office. Now, they'll probably still send mail like the Patrick Divine, but you just turn around and forward that right on up to where the correct address that you had. That you put it down that entity really goes to the capital. See, the word capital, and basically they try and hide the capital of the state by using OL. It's really AL, because that capital is holding the assets of the corporate citizens. And a bank always holds capital, AL.
Okay. So you're saying
you just forward those bills, but you would turn around and, like for your property taxes, you would put a notice into the county assessor or whoever that really, until you basically get out of the system entirely, and when you come out of the system, you will not owe any property taxes, because at that point in time, you're shutting down your corporate entities.
So this works for student loans too, and everything? Where you'll
shut down everything, and then basically you'll set up a private contract with the utility company and pay them as you go, or pay them in advance. Like, say, here's $5,000. Let me know when the fund gets down to 500, and I'll put some more money into the account.
Okay. Thank you.
But otherwise, the account does not belong to you. It belongs to your corporate state citizenship. And you need to file those up to that bank. That's the bank that needs to pay the bill. And you'll find that in Title 18. One of the guys pointed that out to me somewhere around page, if you go into Title 18, I think it's somewhere around page 580 or something like that, about doing these set-offs. And when you basically order or forward those checks back to the proper place, now they have to do the set-offs, because you're not going to be the bank to pay the bill. They are the bank to pay the bill for the citizenships.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Any more questions? Okay, well, Patrick has given us about an hour and a half.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah.
It's Jennifer from Wisconsin.
Jennifer.
I wanted to ask you a question. I emailed you last week in regards to the live birth certificate. How does one go about obtaining that?
You're going to have to speak up. I didn't hear that.
She wanted to know how to obtain a live birth certificate. You go to the Bureau of Vital Records of the county that you were born in, right?
Either the county or the state. Bureau of Vital Statistics or the state recorder. Or the county recorder's office.
And basically ask them for a copy of the live birth certificate?
The certificate of live birth, okay? That's not going to be your hospital birth certificate. That was either destroyed or it was given to you. So if you didn't have that when you left the hospital, there is no longer a record of that.
I posted to Jennifer an article from Wiki, which outlined in there that the various departments, how they're called in the different states. But they also said about that birth certificate with the footprints that is considered a souvenir and has no value.
Yeah, and see, that is Wikipedia, which is controlled by the bankers.
That's right. So some of it may be true and some of it may be false.
It definitely ain't true. Basically, that is a valid document, and they try and play that one down. That has superiority because that has your actual
identity
on it.
Identity, yeah.
That's the one I have. I have a regular birth certificate with the raised seal and the one with the footprints on it, with the mother's maiden name.
Yeah, but see, she put her name down wrong.
Yeah.
You have to correct that.
And see, that's what you have to do in your affidavit, is come in not only correcting your name, but your mother and father's name also.
Uh-huh.
And that gives you your claim of inheritance. And then if your father is dead, you have to go in on his death certificate and you have to make a notation of the change in his mother and his father's name in the correct way so that you can basically claim a strip of inheritance against his dead estate.
Mhm. Yes, they're
You
both.
can go all the way back to Adam, but I don't know whether Adam was his family name or what his family name was, whether Adam was his last name or whether it was his first name.
Okay.
I'll leave that up to you to think about.
Okay.
Okay. I have
Thank you,
a
Patrick.
question on that.
Another question?
Real quick. Basically, so like my father passed away about 2 years ago. So I would have to actually go and change my father's information as well.
After you get yours changed, okay, and you get your account, your foreign grantor account and everything on file with the de jure Post Office of America and have access to that, then you can start working on your deceased relatives to claim your share of their inheritance or their estate. And then start going up through your grandparents and on up the line. But yeah, you would have to do a name change on their documents.
Okay. I think I'll just work on mine first, and then I'll worry about that later.
That's the only one you can work with right now.
Okay, well,
I tried
thank
to
you guys
tell
for
people.
everything.
Yeah. A lot of people have tried to jump the gun and go to their father's or their mother's estate. You can't get there until you claimed yours.
Right. Great. Well, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you and Mr. Thomas for everything that you're doing to help us out.
Just trying to keep on the right path.
Oh, you really do help us, Patrick. Any more
Yeah, I
questions?
appreciate everybody that helped everybody in the emails, and they respond respectfully, and appreciate Mr. Thomas for stepping up and, you guys starting this call for everybody, get on here and be able to ask the questions if there's any confusion. So,
Yeah,
just want to
and
say
help
thank you to everybody.
Tom out too. Help Tom out. If you know the answer to a question that somebody comes up with on the group, give them the response.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well,
Right.
thank you, everybody.
Thank you, too.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Any more
Okay.
questions? Okay.
Is this call being recorded?
Yes, this call is being recorded, and I will post it to the website.
Megan.
I'll post it to the group like I did the last time, because I have it in one file, and I will put it on a website of mine where you can download it as one file. And then Patrick has taken that and broken it up so it can be downloaded also from the group.
Yeah, because it has to be less than about 3 meg to be able to download onto the group site.
Right, and I think it came out something like 20 megabytes for the MP3 file. Okay, so we'll do that in 2 steps.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you all.
You.
We'll do this again next Monday.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you, much appreciated.
Bye.
Okay. Take care.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Good night.
Night.
Good night. Thank you, Tom.